Hi, I'm John and welcome back to my Lair of Action Figures. So today we're going to be continuing with some more G.I. Joe Classified series figures, and this is going to be 176 one in the line, and it is the Grim Viper. So of course this figure came out in 2025. The suggested retail price for this figure is $27.99 or €29.99 in Europe. So I'll put them both like this. So the one I took out of the box, the one from my Mint in Box collection. So then we can have a look at both sides of the packaging. On the side, nothing much new. You know it, you know the drill. QR code brings nowhere. The information about what his military specialties are over here. And then we have a little drawing of our friend the Grim Viper. So, as you can see, the box standard, love the blisters, hasn't changed, and hopefully they will not change, and I would like them to continue keeping the same package, because if you're going to expose them or put them on a shelf side by side or against each other, it would be good that they kind of keep the same sizes of boxes, because I think this must be the fourth or fifth different size that we have for boxes, so it would be very interesting for Hasbro to continue. Sadly, as you can see on the picture also behind, we don't have any spoilers, so nothing ahead of us. So let's dive into the history of this figure. There you go, history done. This figure never came out before. This is an exclusive new figure, if we can call it like that, because we know it's based on the Range Viper, but again, this is a mix of different figures that have been put together to come up to this new classified figure, so there is no history. So, now that we got the history out of the way, let's have a look at what we get in the box. So, what do we get in the box? Of course, we get the figure, we get a Gatling gun, we get, of course, the backpack with this little part who connects to the back of the Range Viper or the Grim Viper. We get a pistol over here, and we get two knives. So of course, if you have already checked out and you already have purchased some G.I. Joe Classified, you're going to recognize a lot of the gear who's here. So we do have some Grim Viper, we also have some Saw Viper equipment, and over here we have the Gatling gun, who was with the original RAM cycle from the G.I. Joe, and also, of course, was given to the Roadblock exclusive that was sold by, what was it? Amazon, sorry. So this is the same rifle. As you can see, Hasbro is doing some kit bashing things up, and we're getting a mix of everything to get a new figure. Now, of course, repaints and doing this kind of stuff is part of the G.I. Joe way, and mostly Super 7 is very strong at doing this. But this figure did came out not too bad. Now again, for Cobra, I'm a little bit less, how can we say, finicky about it, due to the fact that they always had extravagant colors and were always not sticking out. But this one does have some pretty good camo gear on him, some pretty good painting. I like the effects of the eyes, they look very scary, and I guess this is what it's done for. Again, if you have watched my Range Viper review, you will know also about it. So yeah, the figure does have the vest over here, and I do like that you have some pouches, but sadly there's no weapon to go with it. And again, I always find it very strange that when you're going onto a weapon like a Gatling gun, that's the only one possibility you have. So this does put it a bit of a shame. So if you want to army build this one, you're going to have a bunch load of Gatling guns that you don't know what to do with it. So as you can see, it has some bracelets. Those are the ones from the Viper on this one over here. So yeah, as you can see, you can really see how many pieces and bits of pieces have been put together to create this figure. This guy is pretty bulky. Of course, if you're carrying a Gatling gun with the ammo can underneath, yeah, you're going to really need something. So you have the parts for the, how do you call it, for the knives over here, the pistol, and the extra knife that goes in the back over here. So yeah, I did a pretty interesting job on the figure. I like the general design of it, and it's true you could put him down and replace some of the weapons and give him some AKs or some other Warsaw Pike weapons or Russian weapons. So yeah, really do like the color on this one and makes it a bit more, let's say, realistic. So of course over here we have the backpack. So this backpack is nothing new. We already got it with the range Viper. So of course he has his oxygen can, he has some extra bullets. So of course this still has the parts where he can clips the grenade launcher, the part for the axe that was not given with it, but again, pretty good, cool backpack with basically everything you need, communication, radio, yeah, I mean, top notch, really does work pretty well. Gatling gun, if you have seen, and this one, they've glued it in. Oh no, they didn't. Thought there was some glue because it was a bit shiny over there, so yeah. So this, of course, slides out, so nothing much new. Decided to put some kills over here and some flames on the Gatling gun. They did a bit of a paint job on the handlebar, who's a nice one. So let's say if you have an extra one that you don't know what to do with, you can always put it with a roadblock or another G.I. Joe figure who could be carrying this kind of weapon. So yeah, there it is, a pretty decent weapon of choice. But again, how many would you have of a squad of Grim Vipers walking around with Gatling guns? Does not make much sense. Then going on to the pistol, this is also the pistol that was already used with, of course, the Saw Viper, extended mag with dot on it, pretty basic, and yeah, it does work pretty neatly. So I'm going to put all of this back into its place. So to go on to my final thoughts and give him a spin. Afterwards, of course, we do have two different knives. So we have a big knife and a smaller knife. So of course you can't really be mistaken where these go. Of course it is nice to have some silver painted on the bigger one. It would have been nice to have it for the small one to have a bit extra paint. So yeah, maybe a bit lazy on the behalf or wanted to save some money. But you can see everything fits in neatly and your figure is kind of ready to go. Just going to put the backpack in. Always not much of a hassle to put it in, fits pretty well. Everything falls really well in place, and as you can see, he is geared up and ready to go. So now I'm going to put him into a different pose, give him a spin, and I'm going to give you my final thoughts about this figure. Also, do I think it's a collectible item, and what is my note out of 10? So, put him up on the stand, give him a little spin, and I added a small little accessory to it, who does make kind of sense. Of course, this should be on the lower one. It would make even more sense than being on the top one, but yeah. So, here it is, admiring the Grim Viper under all his different poses with the spin. So, do I think this item is a collectible item? I'm going to say yes and no. The figure himself is a nice figure that was pretty well received by the community, and a lot of people do like him. Now again, from like I was saying, I'm not a big fan of having the Gatling gun. I think it's a bit ridiculous because you're not going to army build this figure. But the reason I'm saying that this one does have a collectible value, the reason is simple. This figure is already sold out in Europe, so he's not available. I have a few extra, just in case, that I will be putting up for sale. So if you're in Europe and you missed out on it, feel free to contact me. I will be able to try to help you out. Of course, those figures are imported from the US, so of course they're not going to be sold at €29.99 because they cost me a lot more money to bring into Switzerland. So, my note out of 10 for this figure, I think is where I'm going to be starting with it. This is going to be a 7 out of 10. I like the coloring of the figure, but again, the Gatling gun is something that I don't like. And you have these effects. I picked it up from one of your other sets that you have. I mean, if you're going to give a Gatling gun, at least give us some effects to put on the gun. It would have made sense. That would have not brought up the price of that much for this figure. So I think this is something that could have been added. And as you can see, it does give him a cool look. Yeah, for me it's a bit on and off. I do like my original one over here, and army building this figure and just having a boatload of Gatling guns that I don't know what to do with is the part where I'm kind of a bit, but no. I was going to plan to army build him a bit and have a bit of a squad with picking up the different weapons from the original Range Viper. But at the end of the day, I'm not going to be doing it because, yeah, one or two of those in your squad would be enough, but with the Gatling gun, or even one would be enough, and that's about it. And again, let's be honest, when you're seeing what you have as ammo can over there, how many seconds will that last? 2, 3 seconds max? He'd be out of bullets immediately, so he would have to turn to another weapon, because there's no way that he will be carrying that in this way, even if he's jacked up. And also the fact that he would run out of bullets nearly immediately. So yeah, that's why I'm giving this figure a 7 out of 10. The idea is interesting. I like you bringing in new stuff, maxing up stuff from other figures that you made to give a figure. Yeah, why not? But I still think that the Range Viper, the original one, even if the colors are completely off and not realistic as a camo that you would use, is way better than this one. But anyway, that's my point of view on it. Let me know, did you purchase this figure? Are you planning to purchase this figure? Did you miss out on it if you were in Europe? Let me know. Tell me what you think about it, and do you agree with my point of view on this figure? Let me know in the comments section. Let's start a conversation around our favorite hobby and also our collection. So that's going to be it for my review of the Grim Viper from the G.I. Joe Classified series. If you like this kind of video, please leave a like, share, comment in the section. If you have any suggestions, you can do it also. Go and check out my Facebook page. There's plenty of cool pictures over there and more to come. And also on Instagram, the links are in the description of this video. And until then, I hope you have a fantastic day, and I will see you in my next video. Bye!